California wildfires. Let's just go into that. The total death toll right now is 24. Damages, the number you see circulating right now, is $250 billion. While this is going on, Gavin Newsom says he's already reimagining LA 2.0 post-wildfire and that California needs a Marshall Plan to rebuild. While this interview is taking place, is this the one where the individual questions him? Is that a guy or I don't understand?
That's a guy. And Pat, look at first of all, that's a I don't know yet because I haven't heard the voice. But look at the lighting, the setup. This is a.
But I'm actually really asking a question.
It's a guy.
I want to say it's a guy.
It's a guy.
Look at the way the guy pushes back when he asks a question and Gavin says something. And he makes a comment. I just want you to watch this first.
And can I say one thing?
Yeah.
Look at his hand He's a professional hand gesture, so you don't look at the venom coming out of his mouth.
Play this clip.
Over the course of the next several years, Los Angeles will be host to the World Cup, and then the Super Bowl, and then the Olympics. With this rebuilding effort needing to take place, is LA going to be ready for all of those global events?
My humble position, and it's not just being naively optimistic. That only reinforces the imperative of moving quickly, doing it in the spirit of collaboration and cooperation. President of the United States, Donald Trump, to his credit, was helpful in getting the Olympics to the United States of America, to get it down here in LA. We thank him for that. This is an opportunity for him to shine, for this country to shine, for California and this community to shine. The opportunity with all of that and all that opportunity and that pride and spirit that comes from not just hosting those three iconic games and venues, but also the opportunity, I think, to rebuild at the same time. And that's why we're already organizing a Marshall Plan. We already have a team of looking and reimagining LA 2.0, and we're making sure everyone's included, not just the folks on the coast, people here that were ravaged by this disaster.
You just said you're organizing a Marshall Plan for the rebuilding of California. What is that Marshall Plan? Tell us about this Marshall Plan.
We're just starting to lay out. I mean, we're still fighting these fires. So we're already talking to city leaders. We're already talking to civic leaders. We're already talking to business leaders and nonprofits. We're talking to labor leaders.
That. Okay, so when you hear that and he says LA 2.0, he looks at himself as if it's a hero. Like he's here to save you, California.
Yeah.
You're so lucky to have him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. I'm going to save you. So do you know what happens when I see that? So imagine all of those people that lost their homes, who voted for him, who are for him, who like him. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay,
Hear me out what I'm saying right now. Imagine the ones who voted for him, who protected him for the recall, who like him, who lost the home. Are they watching that and saying, oh, wow, he's so sincere. He has me. What percentage of them do you think he still has?
85%.
Oh, you think so?
These people are. I know some that I've just spoken to 2 days ago that are yelling at me about how amazing and how he's the best and that this is all Trump's fault.
Are you kidding me?
I'm dead serious. And Pam, this is no BS. They're so brainwashed. They're still gonna vote for this guy. Don't let the hype. I remember we talked about it. 2 or 3 years because what he's done in 2026. They still love him and they're still gonna vote for this shit.
Tom, what do you think?
Stockholm Syndrome, Los Angeles, California.
Well, I understand the Stockholm Syndrome, but that's much different. Those are people that are hostages that develop a relationship mentally with their captor. And that's different from this. I think that there's very meaningful percents of this, and I'll give you a great example. The presidential election in California was closer this time than the last 5 elections, like meaningfully closer, and Orange County was red. There is already a shift of voters there. And I take you to Arizona. In Arizona, where immigration was on your front porch, right?
Literally.
Liberals, Democrats, you went to the store, to the ATM, you saw the homeless people that were obviously immigrants, panhandling, vandalism, petty theft. These things were happening. Whereas in Missouri, immigration was a debate between you and me at Starbucks because we don't see a lot of it in Missouri. But it was on our front doorstep live and in living color in Arizona. The Arizona voters shifted. And I believe you're going to see meaningful numbers. Is it 90% the other way? No, it won't be 90% the other way. But just like when the Arizona voters on immigration, they moved from Biden voters to Trump voters. And they were very firm Biden voters. And
Specific to the
numbers.
celebrities. Specific to the celebrities who lost homes.
Now,
do you think they will flip?
Yes, and I think they will absolutely flip. And I saw, so I look at Arizona, and that's human nature. Whether you're a celebrity or not, there are celebrities in there. And Adam Carolla had a 5-minute monologue that he did. And he talked about, before the fires even happened, that, God rest her soul, there's an actress he knew and her husband that had tried to expand and build in Malibu, and they couldn't. They couldn't get the permits done. They couldn't get this done. And he's pointing out, Adam Carolla correctly, he says, you just wait till you get permits. Now you've lost your home, and it's the fault of the state. Now you have to go get permits to get it done. Those people, I absolutely believe that there are people there that are more mid than they want to admit, and that they are going to move. Yeah, and you saw one of them in Calabasas. You talked about one of the stories we have today is a woman in Calabasas who's very, very wealthy from a very powerful family who has said, I'm fed up right now. She's not waiting for the election. She made a very clear case.
Can you pull up Newsom's unfavorability or favorability? Look at this here.
Yeah.
So if you look at the rating from 2023, he went all the way up unfavorable to 45%. Go a little bit ahead right there in the December 1st, Rob. December 1st, right there. What was that? 47%, right? And then it dropped to the mid-30s, and then it went back up late July to whatever, 43, 44%, okay? And then now today, it's the highest it's been, and what's the number? 49.2%, okay?
On the unfavorable rating side of things.
Which, by the way,
right,
that's as of November 30th, 2024. Yeah. Rob, do you have that as of right now, what the rate is? Or is that just from them?
And you saw the reflection of that in the presidential results.
Here it is,
a
right
direct
here.
reflection of that.
But
about during the recall, which was when Larry Elder was running, when he came onto the show, which was
almost 2 years ago.
2022, I want to say. His approval or unfavorable ratings and favorable ratings were basically 50-50, depending on the polls you look at. Now, January of 2025, okay? 27% unfavorable rating, 20% favorable, unfavorable, almost 50%. So the dam has broken. Exactly.
Yeah, but
But October of 2024, keep in mind this, since the election, it was favorable 44% and unfavorable 49%.
Adam, we literally just read
okay,
this.
but the point is this, what's the point? In the last 3 months, it's plummeted.
Okay.
In 3 months.
We just showed that.
Since the election.
Yeah.
That's right here.
I don't have
He's leaving.
We're just showing that you're repeating the same thing
I
for
just
2
said
minutes.
it better than
This
you
guy
guys.
is so
That's it.
funny.
But you ready for this, though? To go to your point, and mind you, he's leaving in the year. He can care less. He's not looking for re-election. He can give two shits.
Yeah, he's looking for re-election
But you guys are
and,
talking
to be
about. You guys
president.
are talking. He's done with president. Well, actually, he's not. Let me back up. But you're
Yeah,
talking
no
about
bench.
these are famous actors and these are Hollywood. Okay, they work for the Hollywood machine. Is the liberal woke, perverted. They can't change that. They can't go Republican. They work for an industry that is all disgusting. All right, I was there. I know what the hell they're about. They're not going to flip. These people are going to stay loyal to their party blindly.
Let me tell you. Yesterday I'm on Pierce. You were on Pierce, I think Friday. You guys
last
had
week, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm on Pierce yesterday. We're having a conversation together. He says, "What do you think is going to happen with California and all the extreme and all this other stuff?" Okay, I said, I don't know who he said. He says somebody said the woke is dead. Maybe he said Musk. Somebody said the woke is dead, right? Anyways, if the woke is dead, I said what you have to be careful is when one extreme dies, another extreme is born. Okay, meaning the Hollywood elites are an extreme.
100%.
So meaning they're not a big community, but they are a loud community because everybody wants to know what they have to say,
yes.
right? And so when you see that, reflection on what's going on with Hollywood, the extreme left, the extreme right, all the extremes are breaking things. All the extremes are the ones that are causing confusion and havoc, right? Here's what it really comes down to. What it comes down to is the average age of somebody in LA, Rob, if you want to pull it up, the average age of somebody in LA right now is
37.
That's exactly the number.
Is it?
It's 37 years old, okay? The average age of somebody in LA is 37 years old. 36 and a half, that's 2022. Today's 37 years old. Okay. How many of this people at 37 years old if you go back and think about when you're 37 years old, what events are a 37-year-old going through? They probably got married. They probably have a kid or two at 37 years old. The average 37-year-old is what I'm talking about, right? So they have a kid or two, and what decisions are you making at that age? The decisions you're making is, do we buy a house? Do we not buy a house? Do we start a business? Do we not start a business? Do we go and get another MBA, or do I get a little bit additional education to be able to get a promotion? What you're thinking, because guess what's about to come up? 40 to 55, that's your money-making years that you're about to enter. 45 to 60, but 40 to 55 is when you really can make some money, and then you compound it from 55 to 70 years old. All right. If you watching all this stuff that's taking place, think about the 37-year-old. They go to bed at night, laying next to their wife, and they're talking. Babe, you think we should still buy that house? I don't think so, babe. But don't you think there's going to be a discount after the fire? Babe, no. Forget about the discount. Babe, what do you think we do with this? Do we start that business in LA? Do we start that thing here? Anything you say, do we buy that house? Do we start that business? Do we grow into this community? Do we go? What you're saying is, if you say yes, you're saying you trust that the politicians in California that have a supermajority in the House, in the Senate, they control it all. When you control it all, guess what you get to say? All the good that happened is because of us. Mm-hmm. But what's the problem when you control it all? Anything that bad that happens, it's what? It's on you. So he can't say, well, the reason why, California and why we're going through this is because the Congress in California didn't approve the $2.5 billion that have been sitting there that we would have helped us. You can't say that. There is no gridlock. You are the gridlock. That 37-year-old is who they have to worry about. This 37-year-old is not famous. This 37-year-old doesn't have 100,000 followers on Instagram. This 37-year-old is not a multimillionaire. This 37-year-old is not a Hollywood star. This is a regular 37-year-old that's trying to make a decision of where do I go raise my kids the next 30 years. And they're asking, buying a house? Where do I put my kids? Career? Starting a business. Let's go through each one of them. Buying a house. Do you think homeowners insurance is going to go up or down in California?
Skyrocket.
Skyrocket. Do you think homeowners insurance companies are going to stay or leave the state of California?
Leaving.
Okay, let's go to number 2. Starting a business. Do you think regulations in the state of California are going to favor small business owners or are going to make your life a living hell? They're going to work against you. Do you think starting a business with people coming and stealing from you, do you think the governor, the politicians in the state of California are going to protect you? Or are they going to defend the other person?
Other person.
Exactly. Okay, so now we have buying a house. And if you buy a house and you want to make it your own and you want to get a permit to build a bedroom in a backyard to have your in-laws stay in, how long do you think it's going to take for you to get that?
Years.
Okay, so then we go to the next one. You got kids. Hey, babe, let's have kids. Your kid is 2 years old. You have 2 of them, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, right? And you're sitting there saying, what school do we put them in? Do we put them in private? Do we put them in public? Do you trust the direction the education is going in the state of California?
No, with drag queen hour?
How long do you think it's going to take for it to turn? Will it ever turn? I think the part that's going to be the slowest thing to turn in California is education. Maybe they'll fix the permit. Maybe they'll fix some of that stuff. Maybe. But the permit is going to take a while, and the education is going to take a long ass time for them to fix. So that 37-year-old is going to sit there and say, how do we leave this place? So California thinks the mass exodus was the one that they had. Can you go to the census, Rob, that shows how many people left California? The U.S. Census shows California lost 1.234 million. Yeah. And then type in census. If you can type census. Lost. There is a Wikipedia that Brandon sent to me yesterday, Rob. If you don't have it, there's a Wikipedia right there. It's 1.234. I just want the audience to see this because I want you to use it when you're talking to other people. Here you go. I got it. Let me send it over your way. 1.234 million people was lost in California, okay? From 2020 to 2024, 1.234 million people left California.
Residents of California?
Residents of California.
How many illegal immigrants did they inherit?
That left. So click on that right there. There you go, buddy. Open it up. Watch this, folks. Zoom in a little bit. Okay. Florida net gained 872 during those 4 years. July 1st, April 1st, okay, COVID started 2 weeks prior to that, July 1st. So that 4-year period, Florida net gain 872, Texas net gain 747, Carolinas 390, 314, Tennessee, look at the red states gaining, right? Now go all the way to the bottom and work your way up. Look all the way to the bottom. California lost 1.234. New York lost 966. Illinois lost 418. What do all those states have in common? Blue states, 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 blue states.
The first one you get to is Ohio at 39.
Think about that. That's the first one. Okay. So you know what this means? They think that's the last Exodus. You have to understand that Exodus was a different Exodus because that Exodus was a chokehold. That Exodus was kids are at home, homeschooling, I can't go to work, I can't breathe. I just want a freaking life. I want to get out. You can't go to the beach. I'm out of this freaking place. You left for a different reason. This reason of leaving is not that reason. It's like this. You know, you work for a company and you say, I'm going to be here for 40 years. This is it. This is where I'm going to finish up my career. They give you health insurance. They give you 401k and you love the benefits. All of a sudden, one day, they're like, guess what, guys? 401k is gone. Health insurance gone. Gone. Gym will close it down. All the benefits is gone. What are you going to do?
I'm leaving.
That's the point.
Yeah, I'm out.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, this is the part. The job of a company is to make sure it keeps it attractive for people to be there long term. The job of a state is to do the same thing so you attract the right types of people and stay. The good ones stay and don't leave. Now, this is going on. So now some people are saying, well, Pat, this is intentional. This is what people like you don't understand. They want people like you to leave. They want the people that are the 37-year-old hardworking business owners to leave. They want everybody to leave. They want the people to stay that are da-da-da-da. That is their intention. They want to do that. Let's just say if that is the truth. This next exodus California is going to be experiencing, Tom, what would you be thinking about at 37 years old? How would you decide? Would you just sit there and be like, take it?
No, remember, we left in 2015. I was older than 37 when we left. But this is exactly what we were thinking about.
That's right.
We were thinking about school quality for our kids. We were at I won't say the name, a very prominent private school in LA. And what was very interesting, it was the best in terms of it was moderate and it was having more celebrity kids come there, coming there from Harvard, Westlake, and things that were far more liberal. And we were looking at all of that. And I was like, you know what? I can't raise my girls here. And for a lot of reasons, I felt squeezed out of California. And
by the way, left. And by the way, you're somebody that the state shouldn't lose.
Exactly. My dad worked in the aerospace industry. He was literally a rocket engineer, mathematician. He met my mom at a defense contractor where they both worked. She was a file clerk. I was born out there. I lived through the 1971 earthquake. I lived through the 1994 Northridge earthquake, where the school I was going to, I had graduated, but it was the 94 earthquake that was so severe where you had all the stuff that collapsed up there at Cal State Northridge. I went and got my MBA at Pepperdine University. I'm a California kid. I was born out there. And then my dad's job moved us, and we were in a little bit in, Florida, a little bit in Connecticut. But I came back there where all my cousins and family was, and that was it. And then I get married, and I feel squeezed out. And I wasn't alone. I talked to so many people that were going through the same mental process that I went through. And I got something to say about this. This was, yes or no, the closest election in the last 5 elections for the Republican candidate, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was that close after 1.2 million conservatives left, which shows you that the people that are there are shifting. Can you imagine if those 1.2 conservatives were still there, how close that election would have been? And so the people in California, I'm seeing people are fed up. I see people that are leaving.
Both you and Vinny are right, because the distinction, Tom, is the following. I don't think the Hollywood people, they're going to lose all of those guys because they fear the favorites.
No, I agree with that, but I'm saying that there's some secret agent moderates that have flipped.
You're right. And that's the distinction between the two. Yesterday I had an hour conversation with Sharon Osbourne, and we're having she is Hollywood. If you remember, Sharon Osbourne was the one that they on the streets, she's walking, she says, so what do you think about BLM? She says, the biggest fraud, we gave them $900,000. I don't know if you remember when she said that.
Yeah, of course.
So they can't even believe what's going on with LA right now. Folks, for those of you that are excited about what's about to come up here January 20th, and you supported the president, the collection, the limited edition hats, the 250 sold out in no time, and everything else right there. There's limited supplies left. The red, the blue, white, and red. I think there's a few of those hats left. This is something you buy and just said, like, if you come into my office, I have the Future Looks Bright hats from this theme of what we experience, and I have it in my office. If you come and see it in my office, I have some of these hats in my office. This is something you buy, you sport, you wear, and then you set it aside in your house, in your office, because you will forever remember 2024, what it was like. And for some of you guys that supported it, fought it, did it in your own way, this is a way for you to say, I contributed during 2024. Go order the gear. And if you got friends, if you got angry Patriot friends like Vinny, and you go to them and say, I got a gift for you. You give them something like this, you put a smile on their face. Again, represent the brand. We got the shirts. We got the hats. I'll always say this. Numbers came back. We were trying to see what the number was going to be for 2025. 2024, we ended up having over 120,000 pieces of merch sold in 2024. Just 3 years ago was 600. Future Looks Bright is becoming a movement. We're going to have 1 million people worldwide wearing this gear, representing it right now. Mario was telling me, he was walking the other day having a shirt on at church. He says, a guy looked at him, and he just looked at him and pointed at the logo, and they kind of winked, and they walked off. The Valuetainment crew, when they see each other, it's a very interesting gang around the world.
It's kind of like in
whether you know it or not, you're a part of it.
It's kind of like in the movie Old School when they know.
Like,
you know.
Yeah, so
Part of the-
whatever Adam said, folks. Go to VTmerch.com,
fraternity.
place your
Part of the
order.
fraternity.
And for those of you that have the
Godfather.
families in California that are affected by it, we raised $108,000 on last Thursday, where we said 100% of it's going to go to families in California. If you know anybody, shoot me, Tom, Vinny, or Adam a connect of a story and their phone number. We may just surprise FaceTime them and help them out. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.